done so much for me, I cannot tell it all. If I had 10,000 tongues, it still wouldn't be enough.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Friday, the 23rd day of July 2021. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Appointments Committee endorses Ejabin as special prosecutor. That was quick. 7.62 billion Ghana cedis for free SHS in 5 years. Finance Minister. 7 convicted of WASI malpractice. Ghanaian Times. At the vetting of special prosecutor nominee, I'll be ruthless with all cases. Kisei Ejabin pledges. COVID-19, third wave imminent. Ghana Health Service. Fight against Galamsey. No ban on small-scale mining. Go and do your work. Merekuduka to miners. Court stops government from collecting mobile phone subscribers' personal data. Daily Guide. Corruption will be costly. Kisei Ejabin. Atuasian challenges open defense order. No loan for free SHS. Ghana Guards Board assumes office. Carcass killers in court remanded again. New Weekend Crusading Guide. Kisei Ejabin dazzles at vetting. Appointments Committee unanimously recommend his approval for Special Prosecutor. Samira Bawumia Foundation supports 10 schools in Eastern Region. VIP of AFDB celebrates Agro Kings for excellence in agriculture. Cape Coasters red-eyed demand dismissal of MCO for FIT 2024 posts. First private organizing training institute opens in Accra. Only Bawumia can easily win against Mahama. The Insight. Corruption. Special prosecutor says he cannot stop the canker. Manasseh Azuri punches Akufo-Addo over free speech. Bosume Freho, the sad story of the sleeping giant. IOM report says deaths of migrants crossing the sea to Europe more than doubled in first half of 2021. Jacora Ventures wins prestigious global SEED 2021 Low Carbon Award. The Informer. In commemoration of late President Mills' 77th birthday, Atta Mills Institute donates to charity. I qualify to sit on Supreme Court of Ghana, Kisei Ejabin. Sputnik V contract, minister pushed by limiting factors. IGP Dampare, public security analyst hail appointment and say it signals things will be done right. Dr. Bawumia has distinguished himself as a precious asset for Ghana and NPP. The Inquisitor. Word of caution, Dampare, beware of friends in quote. UPSA honors Napo tomorrow. Becomes Dr. Prempe. Okay. Well, he can only use one, which is the one that he earned as a medical doctor. The rest, he can't use them. Akufo-Addo must address nation on rising COVID-19 cases at Kandor. Techman South NDC wants court case withdrawn. The Herald. Akufo-Addo ignores calls to dismiss health minister. Special prosecutor nominee warns against political interference, threatens to resign if abrogate stalled Sino-Hydro projects for lack of funds and others. Agboja tells government. Shocking. Government blows 53 million Ghana cedis on COVID returnees. The Daily Statesman. And my own man, special prosecutor says he won't walk in Amidu's shoes. Kudalo. Dampare will succeed as IGP. Ghana Statistical Service urges citizens to cooperate with census enumerators. Ghana faces ban on export of fish. The Daily Searchlight. Guta dissents on speaker of alleged statement in Nigeria. Accept the president's MMDC appointees in good faith. Dr. Bawumia has distinguished himself as a precious asset for Ghana and MPP. Government releases funds to senior high schools. Telecoms ordered to stop collecting personal data. The Ghanaian Publisher. I have Nane's support to fight corruption, Kissi Jaben declares. Bisu petitions NPP over NAS expose. Dan Paris appointment sends a positive signal, Professor Enin. First Lady opens waiting lounge at Kolebu Hospital. The custodian. Kissi Jaben rejects Amidu's heavy shoes. All hail Dan Paris as ideal IGP. Upon Nkrumah leads journalist in blood donation. The Accra Times. Parliament should be a trailblazer, Bagbin declares. Saboba MP chases minister over decision to abandon rural electrification in his constituency. Team of Hope gives hope to 132 patients with free surgery. The sharks in politics now have young ones. Samuelata Mills remembers Professor Mills in heaven. Not that MP wants light for her communities. Daily Post. Appointments Committee unanimously recommends Kissi Jaben's approval. Sputnik V deal. Ajimamenu should have resigned by now. Kwachi Ofosu. Northern Region NDC MPs pay courtesy call on the Yana. Business and Financial Times. IMF backs Bank of Ghana to keep policy rate tight over inflation scare. GCB Bank presents 40 million Ghana cedis dividend to government. Medical drones crucial for fight against COVID-19 in Africa. Zipline country manager. AHH sign on to farm access safe care to improve health services. Mistrust, economic difficulties to blame for low insurance patronage. Vanguard boss. Energy transition requires bold policies and choices. 2021 NRGI. Feature, sustainability or extinction. What African enterprises need to know about the next 10 years. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
The Kasule family is inviting all friends and sympathizers to a 40th day anniversary of the late Mr. Yakubu Adam Kasule of Bewa Civil Engineering. Date 25th July 2021. Venue at his residence, house number 20, Osubedu Street, Airport West. The program will commence in the morning at 9 a.m. with prayers and recitation of the Holy Quran by Chief Imam, while the second program starts at 1 p.m. and end at 6 p.m. in the evening. Please note, all COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
License AC, Tresse, it will gold-plated things. Yet the copper pipes pa pebi na ye. Gasia, and for how biam roda sanibia, and a goom. And yet the day, Tansu of 4-in-1 filter system. 80 from a free mubano. Aye kroje. AC, yet the horsepower neto. License kasa aye 2.5. Aye 2.5. Kululu pianim. Yet the abapimo. Aye high sense AC super promo. Date in year 26 July. Akobim 8 August 2021. Upe Asia Efe. Na chili. Na power. Aye high sense AC. Comfort to yemi. 26 July. Akobim 8 August. Madam Hisense. Matiti Suse. Who? 5 years warranty. Adasutia. Hisense and Kwane to me yes amount. Hisense. Everyday prices for everyday people.
Did you know that cloth handkerchief gets dirty and wet after wiping your sweat or blowing your nose with it? Keeping a dirty handkerchief in your pocket or bag is very unhygienic. Reusing it increases your chances of getting sick from germs. That is why I always use Flora disposable handkerchiefs. Flora disposable handkerchiefs is disposable, thus making it a more hygienic option. It's thick and very absorbent. With 10 tissues in a pack, Flora disposable handkerchief is better than a cloth handkerchief. For Flora toilet roll, Flora multi-purpose paper towels, Flora table napkins, and Flora box tissues in a shop near you. For both purchases, call Delta Paper Mail on 0243 033 033.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
The Kasule family is inviting all friends and sympathizers to a 40th day anniversary of a late Mr. Yakubu Adam Kasule of Gwewa Civil Engineering. Date 25th July 2021. Venue at his residence, house number 20, Osubedu Street, Airport West. The program will commence in the morning at 9 a.m. with prayers and recitation of the Holy Quran by Chief Imam, while the second program starts at 1 p.m. and end at 6 p.m. in the evening. Please note, all COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning is a former minister who's currently the managing director of STC, Nana Akomia. Good morning, Nana.
Morning, Randy.
Also with me on the show is the member of parliament for the North Tongue constituency, who's also the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Sami Okujato Ablakwa is here with me. Good morning, Sami.
Hi, good morning.
Right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. And like Nana rightly observed last week, you're still slaying in your morning period. Have the dates been fixed for your dad's funeral?
Yes.
The dates have been fixed?
Yes.
When?
We'll do it on the 14th of August.
14th?
Yes.
14th
of August.
Where?
At the Aveime Methodist Church.
Okay. It looks like you coincide with Homo for Gamashi. I think so. So Aveime Methodist Church.
Yeah.
Okay. That's in your constituency?
Yes.
On the 14th?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So
I didn't know that men also slay. I thought it's reserved for the fairer sex.
Oh no, but you're fair.
No, this is not a kind of fairness. Nana Kumia.
You're slaking. What is it that you want to say that you don't want to say?
He's the first slaking.
First slaking in Ghana. So, all right, okay. So, Your Excellency.
Oh my goodness.
Slaking from Aveime. Anyway, so we'll be there to support you. So that's where everything will be.
Yes.
At Aveime.
Yes. Please.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Accept our commiserations once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. So you've been busy in Parliament, and the match talked about presidential hiring of the jet that has been going back and forth came up. You hinted us last week that you had information that the minister was going to provide the answer on Wednesday, sorry. But it appears that for many, it was an anticlimax.
Absolutely.
Let's just recap what happened in Parliament on Wednesday.
Ask the Honorable Minister for Finance how much the President's recent official travels to France, Belgium, and South Africa in May this year cost the Ghanaian taxpayer.
The Chief of Staff works with the National Security Secretariat to facilitate the safe coordination of the President's travels. So there's obviously interactions between them as to how much is to be spent on that. Mr. Speaker, this Honorable House is also well aware of national security implications of various activities that are done, and that is why they have certain protocols of national security. Mr. Speaker, all things may be permissible, but not all things may be beneficial. And it's therefore always the House knowing what it is that they have to do in camera and what they do not have to do in camera, which leads us to this. Mr. Speaker, I still contend that the best placed person to furnish this Honorable House with the details would be the National Security Minister, in which your answers the appropriate answers will be given.
I was caught in the moment. I meant no disrespect. I'm very sorry. So, no, withdrawn.
To query gift mix and get any information about expenditure that has been captured in gift mix. But Mr. Speaker, when you release money to agencies in bulk, expenditures from those monies must go through an approval and a warrant process, and that warrant process commits the expenditure to specific item lines. And so we are not asking of the bulk money you sent to the office of the President, but the expenditures emanating from those monies went through a budget approval process and warrants were issued committed to specific expenditure lines. And once it is entered into that expenditure line, the minister sitting in his office is the only person in Ghana who can access that information at any level of detail. So for the minister to say that he needs to get the information from another ministry, when with the press of the button, you can query the specific expenditure item called travel and tell the details on those travels. Mr. Speaker, I think he's avoiding the question. Did they issue warrants in order to pay expenditures relating to the President? And where was it entered? In the gift mix.
Yeah. Honorable members, we move on to the next question. I'm doing so because I think I was trying to draw your attention to something you are not taking care of. You have processes. You have processes. The processes take time. And reading the answer, he has left those processes in doubt. But he says, if you ask this specific person, he will be able to get you those details there. That is why I'm saying that it doesn't arise. These supplementary questions you are asking doesn't arise. Let's move forward, get the person involved to come to answer the questions and give the details. Please. Deputy Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, the Minister of Finance provided an effect of the office of the President. So I want to find out from the Minister,
Is the minister saying that the travels of the president are financed under the budget of the national security? Because he says that in the last paragraph that he says that the president's domestic and international travels are matters to do with national security. The national security minister is the best placed to furnish this house with the details needed. The detail we need is the cost of the travel. Is the Minister of Finance saying that the national security minister is the one who controls the budget that finances the president's travel? So that when we ask him, you'll be able to provide the information. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The last paragraph of the minister's answer says that, Mr. Speaker, the president's domestic and international travels are matters to do with national security. The national security minister is best placed to furnish this honorable house with the details needed. And Mr. Speaker, the detail that we need is the cost of the travel. So if he's saying that he is the minister best placed to provide the details, my question is that national security minister is the one who controls the budget that will finance the president's travel. That is my question. Is it the national security minister that controls the budget that finances the president's travel, both domestic and international?
Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did state from the beginning that the Chief of Staff works with the National Security Secretariat to facilitate the safe coordination of the President's travels. So there's obviously interactions between them as to how much is to be spent on that. Mr. Speaker, this Honorable House is also well aware of national security implications of various activities that are done, and that is why they have certain protocols of national security. Mr. Speaker, all things may be permissible, but not all things may be beneficial. And it's therefore always the House knowing what it is that they have to do in camera and what they do not have to do in camera, which leads us to this. Mr. Speaker, I still contend that the best placed person to furnish this Honorable House with the details would be the National Security Minister, in which your answers the appropriate answers will be given. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
To say that we should allow some limited intervention, and I thought that ought not even have been entertained. But
I haven't heard you at all. I haven't heard you.
In respect of
all what you said.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You are not speaking into the mic, and so you are not audible.
Well, Speaker, the point made is this. Our orders provide in 62(1). Questions may be asked of ministers relating to public affairs with which they are officially connected. Mr. Speaker, that is the essence of my own intervention. You moved, you ruled, or directed that we should move on. As I said, I was listening to proceedings. At a point in time, I heard you direct that we should move on and the question should be filed or refiled. And then an intervention was made against the direction that you provided. And I'm saying that ensuing from this is what I have come to hear. And I'm saying that If a person or a minister is not officially responsible, can this House force that person to be officially responsible? If the person mentioned is invited and he denies responsibility, then the House could litigate the matter further. But the person has not been invited. So what are we doing? Mr. Speaker, that is the point I raised. And I'm saying that. I've taken a cue.
Yes, Majority Leader, you are right.
Thank you very much.
But when it comes to supplementary, I won't know what question the person will ask until it is asked. And usually it's proper to give members the opportunity to air their views. When I see it's not supplementary, I overrule it. And I've done that a number of times. And now I believe that we have to move on. That is why I said we go to the next question. And the next question stands in the name of Honorable Dr. Clement Apak, the Member of Parliament for Bolsa South. Honorable Member, you may do so now.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Finance if government took a loan or loans to finance the implementation of the free senior high school policy.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, government has taken no loan to specifically finance the free SHF policy. Mr. Speaker, the free SHF school policy has since its inception been financed from the annual budget funding amount and Government of Ghana funding sources. Over the 5 years, a total amount of 7.62 billion has been allocated to implement the free SHS program. Out of this amount, 4.18 billion was sourced from Government of Ghana, representing 54.76%, while the balance of 3.44 billion, representing 45.24%, came from APFA. Mr. Speaker, the free senior high school policy education provides free education for all Ghanaians in senior high school to ensure that no child is denied access to education.
Our rules are clear that ministers answer questions that are under their official line of duty. So you cannot ask the Minister of Finance, because he's a Minister of Finance and he has released money to the Water Resources Ministry, he should come and answer questions that relate to how monies are spent at the Water Resources Ministry or at the Defense Ministry. So you see, it must also be emphasized that all the supplementary questions by Honorable Ablakwa were overruled by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker had the occasion to call him to order. So for him to come out to raise issue that has to do with lack of transparency is neither here nor there. Suffice to state that he himself had provided figures and he put these figures out there on his social media handle. Where did he get those figures from? If indeed he already has the figures, the cost, then why is he asking the Minister of Finance to provide figures? So there is a whole lot of political mischief. The aim of his press conference is to tarnish the hard-won reputation of the Minister of Finance. It is for political point scoring, and I am saying that if he is minded to know the facts, the opportunity is there for him to file a question to the National Security Minister to come and answer. There is no attempt by government to hide information from anybody. In fact, the Minister of Finance never asked for time. I repeated it on the House floor during Business Committee report presentation, that it was Mr. Speaker who directed that at the right time those questions will be tabled.
Since the 1st of June that the Right Honourable Speaker admitted this question under Order 66, the Finance Minister has consistently been requesting for more time. Remember that the Finance Minister had earlier given indication that he will provide the answers, and so was programmed. to respond to the question on the 17th of June. It was in the provisional order paper of the 16th of June. Then on the 17th, he came to Parliament early and sought permission to be granted more time. And he's done that a couple of times. So suddenly, he comes today, the 21st of July. Since the 1st of June, he comes the 21st of July, after several weeks, to tell us that we should go to the Minister for National Security. Very shocking indeed. This is clearly a government that is seeking to cover up, is seeking to conceal, is refusing to disclose the full cost of this profligate luxury travels. Now, the other question that arises is that I refer you to the Honorable Minister for Defense's response to the first leg of our question. You recall that the Honorable Minister for Defense took responsibility that when it comes to presidential travels, particularly relating to presidential jets and all of that, it is referred to them and that they are responsible because the communication squadron is under the Ministry of Defense. Today, we are being referred to national security and all of that. So you see the government confusion. The attempt to cover up is rather exposing them.
So for the minister to appear before us and refer the matter again to the minister responsible for national security and the chief of staff, we find it unacceptable. We urge our minister responsible for finance to come back once again to revisit the powers that he has, because he has every power. He's the supervising minister for all financial matters in this country. So it is very unfair for him to have come to Parliament and made a categorical statement that he's not in a position to provide us that.
Mr. Speaker, this question offers the Minister of Defense, particularly the Ghana Air Force, an opportunity to explain matters related to Falcon 900 EX-EZ with registration number 9G-EXE and its airworthiness. First of all, Mr. Speaker, many Ghanaians wrongly believe that the VVIP...
All right, so you watched the excerpts of what transpired in Parliament on Wednesday during the Q&A, the Minister of Finance and members of Parliament, and of course the Speaker's ruling on the matter and the post-sitting interviews granted by the Deputy Minority Leader, the Ranking Member of Finance, and the Ranking Member on Foreign Affairs, in whose name the question stood. Sami, you appeared and sounded very frustrated and disappointed.
Absolutely, absolutely, Randley. And I am also outraged, livid actually, about how low this government has sunk when it comes to accountability, when it comes to transparency, when it comes to good governance ethos. There can be absolutely nothing wrong about seeking the cost of a presidential travel. Every country, there is transparency about this. Every country. I have many questions and letters written by U.S. congressmen and women. The latest one was by Congresswoman Zoe Lepfrock, seeking to know if Trump has fully reimbursed his business travels that he did on Air Force One. You know, the U.S. has a policy. If you are sitting president and you use the Air Force, say you are going for an official assignment in Texas, and you stop over at a political event, say fundraising or a rally, you pay for it. And they have the charge per hour, how much you must pay. President Obama just finished paying his. President Trump, that's the campaign team, will have to pay. The Republican National Convention pays for that.
These are matters that are known. They
no,
are,
but even here, even here, don't the office of a president in accounting even indicate how much is spent on travels?
Yes,
they do.
Yeah, you're right. I'm getting there. So the world over, there is best practice. There is nothing secret. There is nothing untoward about seeking information on how you have expended the taxpayers' money on presidential travels. In Ghana, even before I come to full disclosures, which have happened in the past, before the president travels, the Constitution and our standing orders mandate that Parliament is informed on where he's going, what he's going to do, how long he will spend, and who acts in his stead. If the vice president is available, the vice president will act in his stead. If the vice president is also traveled or is not available, the Speaker of Parliament is sworn in to act in his stead. There's nothing secretive about these travels. Then, in our budgeting, every year, we ask the Office of Government Machinery to give us the breakdown, the cost of presidential travels. So, the latest information we have, I brought a document here. This is the official report of Thursday, 19 December 2019. If you come to column 225, the Office of Government Machinery. Let me begin by reading column 223. This is the Honorable Ranking Member Atuforsen speaking. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, let me say that the Office of Government Machinery has 15 agencies, namely the Office of the President, the Scholarship Secretariat, the Ghana AIDS Commission, Commission of Council, State Protocol Department, National Population Council, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Internal Audit Agency, National Builders Corps, and a number of others. Then I come to the relevant column, 225. Mr. Speaker, apart from that, if we are to look at the breakdown, operational enhancement expenses alone at the Chief of Staff Secretariat is 68.9 million Ghana cedis. Foreign travel costs for 9 months, January to September alone, is 62.5 million Ghana cedis. I strongly believe that this amount is too much, unquote. So, the entire details is provided to Parliament at the level of the Finance Committee. They put it in their report, present it to the House, because before we approve your budget for the ensuing fiscal year, you must account for how you spent what was approved the previous year. And in accounting, we have always demanded breakdowns. We want to be sure that what we approved, you have stayed within budget. And you have not overspent and all of that. And even how you have, has there been wrongful environment, misapplication, misappropriation? I mean, Parliament looks at all of that as part of our constitutional mandate to carry out financial oversight. So, when did this matter of presidential travels become a matter of national security? And all
this information was provided by who?
By the Chief of Staff appearing before the Finance Committee.
Okay.
He was there with his deputies at the time, the Honorable Abu Jinapo and the Honorable Asensu Boachi. National security did not come in at all. Indeed, this is the first time that Parliament is being told that when it comes to presidential travels, we should go to the National Security Minister. You see, the dishonesty, the disregard, the contempt with which Parliament and the people of Ghana are being treated is nauseating. And we must call it out for what it is. Look, this is a question I filed on the 1st of June, admitted same day by the Right Honourable Speaker under Order 66 of our standing orders. Order 64 of our standing orders is very clear that the entire process of filing urgent questions should not go beyond 10 days. From the period that you file to when the minister comes to respond, it should be within 10 working days. When the minister receives the communication within those 10 days, the minister should not go beyond 7 days. That's what our standing orders says. It's very clear. Now, I filed 2 questions at the same time, admitted by Mr. Speaker, 1st of June. One to the minister responsible for defense, the other to the minister responsible for finance. The defense minister came to Parliament on the 16th of June and provided his response. Remember that question related to the state of the presidential jet, the Falcon 9G EXE. The defense minister confirmed that the presidential jet is in pristine condition, is in mint condition. There is really nothing wrong with it. It was available. It had not been sent for servicing. It was available to be used, except that he came up with all kinds of excuses, including the now infamous you cannot shower and you cannot you cannot freshen up in the Falcon 9G EXE, whatever that means. And so clearly you can tell that it was all about seeking for a luxurious alternative where you could shower in the skies. Now, on that day when the defense minister came to respond, the provisional order paper on that day, the 16th of June, had Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to respond to the second part of the question on the cost of the travels on that day. And we were all expectant, the whole nation, journalists. It was widely reported. So I'm not making this up. It was widely reported. It was advertised. Even before the provisional order paper, the business statement in the previous week had listed the order of business for that ensuing week and how the questions had been programmed. Defense minister to come on the 16th, finance minister to come on the 17th. Everybody knew that. I get a call. Unfortunately, we were working on a statement in my office for a press conference by the minority. The Honorable Minority Leader was with me. We were working on the statement together. The Honorable Haruna Idrisu is my witness. So when Honorable Afenyo Makin says that the Finance Minister never requested for more time, he knows he's peddling blatant falsehood, and I don't expect that from a leader of the House. You don't do that. The Honorable Haruna Idrisu was with me. We were working on my laptop. When the clerk at table called me, Mr. Jetro, that the finance minister has come here, he says that he will need more time, so we have to take the question off the order paper. So
he will need more time because he was not served on time.
Yes, apparently it was our good friend Malik Kwekubaku,
yes,
who actually gave us the reason. I heard it here for the first time. He sent you the message that apparently the finance minister had told him that he received the question on the 14th. Yes. And so between 14 and 17, he thought that it was too short a period. But when I have to be honest with you, that when Mr. Jetro called me, the Honorable Minority Leader was with me at the time, he didn't tell me the reason. He just said that
he's asked for more time.
He's asked for more time, and so I shouldn't expect to see the question on the order paper.
But anytime
the speaker has given leave.
Anytime there's a request for extension of time, there's always a reason anyway.
Yes, yes. You know, So those are the facts. Because if not, why is it that the question disappeared from the other paper on the 17th of June? And viewers can go online. It was even subject of, considerable discussions. I recall the City FM Online and others said that, Kujato's question vanishes and all of that. And we later had to explain that it's because the finance minister had come to parliament and engaged.
Just a little clarification. Kweku didn't say that the finance minister told him.
Okay, yes. No, that his sources, yes. I must, yeah. So his Kweku Bako's sources. I know that journalists always protect their sources, so apologies for that. Now, so on the 17th, the question was not listed. Truly, as I had been informed by the clerk at table. The following week, it wasn't listed. Second week, it wasn't listed. But consistently, every week, when the business statement is read, and I do not see the question for the ensuing week, I raise it. And I am told that, look, he has asked for more time. Let's give him more time. He's putting things together. Please be patient. And I was patient until the 1st of July, when I had to write a memo to the business committee and express my disgust at what is going on. That we seem to be creating a super minister in this country. That week, when I wrote that memo, the sports minister was only late. He was on his way to parliament to answer questions when he was called to come to the Flagstaff House, or Jubilee House as it's now known, to usher the Olympic committee to meet, the Olympic team to meet the president, as he told us later in explanation. He was reprimanded by the speaker. The health minister, the previous week, had been scolded strongly for even writing. He even gave a date. He didn't just ask for more time in perpetuity. He gave a date when will be convenient for him. Parliament took a strong view that you can't treat Parliament that way. So I asked in my memo that what is going on? Why does it appear that government is so uncomfortable with this question? And some elements in the House seem to be aiding and abetting, and that this conspiracy must stop. Fortunately, the speaker stood his grounds, and at plenary, the speaker said, look, this question will be answered. Viewers can go online. The speaker, in responding to one of my queries, my numerous queries, as to why this question, after it had been advertised in the provisional order paper of 16th June, has vanished. The speaker said, Honorable Kujato Ablakwa, don't worry, this question will be answered. I have admitted it. I insist it will be answered. So it must be answered. And I know the efforts that the speaker made to ensure that the business committee programs this question again for it to be answered this week, the 21st of July. Though I must say that this whole episode has left Parliament further weakened. It has undermined the authority of Parliament.
Why?
Parliament should not have allowed one minister to treat Parliament this way. So contemptuously, so arrogantly, with such disdain and disrespect. Parliament should not have allowed that. All ministers are equal. And we are all, including the president, the commander-in-chief, we are all under the constitution and the standing orders when it comes to parliamentary procedures and practices.
But indeed, if this were the answer, then if you receive the question on the 14th, you should be able to give this answer in 5 minutes.
Exactly. That is,
if this indeed was the answer.
Yes. So even if you had received the question even that day, the 17th,
yes,
you should just have told the clerk at table who brought the correspondence to you that, look, I don't have the answer. This is not for me. It should be redirected. And you just write that Speaker has admitted in error. And you know actually what this means. What the finance minister is actually telling Parliament and telling the Speaker. Because if you read Order 66 of our standing orders, is the Speaker who is the judge, he is the only one who can admit questions. So admissibility lies in his bosom. Now, the finance minister is telling the speaker that we got it wrong.
No.
Parliament as an institution, because it is for the speaker and for the advisors of the speaker, the clerks and leadership, if the speaker is so minded to take their counsel, to make sure that that questions are admitted correctly.
Yes.
Now, this response by the finance minister, let me be clear, it is just an attempt at a cover-up, and it is an afterthought attempt, because it doesn't make sense, as I put to him in my supplementary question, that since you received this communication and you have been asking for more time and you are aware of all the threats, indeed I had to even mobilize names, because under Article 82 of the Constitution, 1/3 of MPs can initiate a process to remove ministers, the vote of censure. We secured those numbers and we served notice that we were going to initiate the process to remove him. I'm sure that is what then compelled him to show up, because he didn't want that whole spectacle, you know, the removal process to commence. Now, it is clear to me that government does not want the people of Ghana to have the full facts. Government is not interested in a full disclosure of this matter.
But they've directed you to where you get full disclosure.
Look, if you listen to the finance minister carefully,
yeah,
he drops hints,
yes,
that you see, everything is permissible, but not all is expedient. And the arrogance. Who is he the one to come and dictate to us, the speaker, how we run parliament, and what is expedient, and what is not expedient? Who made him that judge over parliament? He thinks we are his cool boys or something.
It's just expressing a view.
And then he drops hints that we can decide if it will be held in camera and all of that. Who told him that? I don't blame him at all. We allowed him to take us on this circus, on this wild goose chase, only for him to come and tell us that go to the National Security Minister. And the contempt with which
you've gone there.
With which he does.
You've gone there.
Yes, of course.
Because the speaker he did. Look, you have also done same.
Yes, because we need to let government know that on this matter we will remain unrelenting, we will remain determined, we will remain absolutely focused and committed, because all the spokes they have put in our way was to get us to back off. Remember this business of another MPP MP filing a counter question that they want records of President Mahama's. Yeah, that was also responded to that same day, and the finance minister simply said the same principle to my question applies. Clearly, they didn't find anything from the President Mahama era, so they couldn't carry out the attempts to equalize. That attempt failed. So now let's go and shroud this under national security considerations. I can confirm to you, Randy, that same day, before the finance minister left Parliament, I filed an urgent question requesting the Minister for National Security to come provide the details. But in my interaction with the media, we have also said...
Has it been admitted?
I have to check.
But by the ruling of the speaker, it will be admitted.
Yes, it will be admitted. I'm sure it will be admitted. Now, we have served notice that the hints the finance minister was dropping, we are not going to accept it. This business of in camera and perhaps the National Security Minister coming before us and telling us that, you know, I can't give you the details because of national security considerations. That will not be tolerated. Okay. We will not accept it. Finally, it must be stated unequivocally, without any iota of doubt, that we are of the firm conviction that this matter is a public interest matter, it's in the national interest. We had a functioning presidential jet in good condition, same seater virtually with what we went to charter from Acropolis Aviation, Farnborough in the United Kingdom. The presidential jet could have flown the president directly to France, to Belgium. He only needed one stop to South Africa. A brief stop of less than an hour to refuel, and he will be sent to South Africa. We have the firm conviction that the decision to go for the ACJ 320 neo was reckless. It was not consistent with the president's pledge to protect the public purse. The president had so many options. If you look at the fleet at that same company, Acropolis Aviation, there were more modest, cheaper options that the president could have utilized.
All right. Okay.
He should not have gone for the world's most expensive, the most luxurious penthouse in the skies, as it's called, the pinnacle of luxury. An aircraft which, after it was manufactured, they spent 13 months in Switzerland just to spruce it up, give it a luxury configuration.
Right.
At a time, the president is telling everybody to tighten their belts. At a time, the president is saying you have to share the burden. Share burden. Apparently, he doesn't understand burden.
Okay.
He is on his way to advocate for debt forgiveness, and he chooses to travel this way. The people he's asking debt forgiveness from, they do not travel this way. Like Russian oligarchs, Arabian kings, they do not travel this way.
Okay, so just confirm some. Yeah,
we'll pursue this.
Just confirm something for me. The Kessler 214 thing you read, the Hansard. What's the date?
It's the 19th of December, 2019.
19 December 2019.
2019.
All right.
And if talking about 247, he made a brilliant point. He and Adongo, the finance committee members, on the give me system.
Yes.
You see that point.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll be back shortly.
In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
Did you know that cloth handkerchief gets dirty and wet after wiping your sweat or blowing your nose with it? Keeping a dirty handkerchief in your pocket or bag is very unhygienic. Reusing it increases your chances of getting sick from germs. That is why I always use floral disposable handkerchiefs. Floral disposable handkerchiefs is disposable, thus making it a more hygienic option. It's thick and very absorbent with 10 tissues in a pack, Flora disposable handkerchief is better than a cloth handkerchief. Look out for Flora toilet roll, Flora multi-purpose paper towels, Flora table napkins, and Flora box tissues in a shop near you. For bill purchases, call Delta Paper Mill on 0243 033 033.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV, brought to you in kind partnership with X Natural Mineral Water. Still with me on the show, I have Nana Kumia and Savio Kujato Blackwa.
Yeah, Doc, if you
in a minute,
if
yes.
you permit
in a
me,
minute,
in a minute. You see, the GIFME system. And I must commend Setekpe, is the father of GIFMEs in Ghana. The finance minister, sitting in his office, by the click of a button, knows every transaction. Indeed, no transaction will be honored now in public financial management. Nana Komia knows. If it does not go through the GIFME system, the finance minister can query GIFMEs. He can even stop a transaction. So the finance minister cannot claim that he does not know the cost of this transaction. And that's why I asked him in my supplementary question. And again, the deputy leader is wrong that all my supplementary questions were disallowed. Blatant falsehood. My supplementary question on GIFMEs was accepted. I asked him, is he saying that GIFMEs, the finance minister saying that this transaction didn't go through the GIFME system? It will make the entire transaction illegal per the Public Financial Management Act. The finance minister then responded. If you look at the footage again, and said that, you know, national security, this that particular item, they didn't understand it because, you know, how the national security people put their information, so they didn't understand it. So it went through the GIFMEs all right, but they couldn't understand it because of how national security put their information. The Daily Graphic reported that response yesterday on the front page of the Daily Graphic.
They don't understand.
Yeah, that he didn't understand. Meanwhile, every transaction they give me is a line item, is coded. There's a code to every transaction in the GIFME system.
Maybe it's written in German or something.
I mean, finally, Randy, let me say that even if the finance minister didn't want to access the GIFME system and does not want to rely on GIFMEs to provide the cost, there is no Chinese war, there is no Gulf of Guinea between the finance ministry and the national security ministry or the chief of staff's office. I have here a responsible conduct of the foreign minister, and let me commend her in her response to my question yesterday on the full cost of evacuations and quarantine. I'm sure we'll get there. Yes, but listen to what the foreign minister told us, told Parliament yesterday. Page 22 of the order paper. Mr. Speaker, before proceeding to provide details of the evacuation exercise, I wish to place on record that the evacuation exercise was executed in collaboration with other government agencies. As such, information I will provide this August House, particularly those regarding amounts spent by government on the quarantine of evacuees, were provided to my ministry by the National Security Secretariat, which is in charge of quarantine. So
because she was asked this question, yes, she sought the answer from the relevant and brought it to Parliament. Okay. All right.
Couldn't the finance minister have done this?
Okay. Maybe I'll look for a Bible quotation to explain that.
Oh, please. Let's leave the Bible.
Let's bring the nine. But now let me just read this from Uncle Intakradi. It says the cost of the U.S. President's jet, Air Force One, is known. The cost of his official vehicle, the Beast, is known. Their capabilities are known. The cost of their travels are published and discussed. The expected outcomes of any U.S. president's travels are openly discussed. In our circumstances, why do we think such matters must be secret? And even in particular for a state minister to use scripture quotations to imply that it may not be appropriate for an information related to the cost of a president's travel to be made public. Can it mean scriptures may be used to mislead and terrify? I think Honorable Ablako has always and consistently been courageous and civil. He deserves the support of every right-thinking Ghanaian who really believes in the often touting of accountability in the use of state resources. Right, Nana.
Let me deal with this obviously Samuel Kudjato's fan base. They say that Samuel Kudjato is what? What is he saying? Is what?
Courageous and civil.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No. I don't have any objection or endorsement. My only small worry is his blatant refusal to tell us why he stood down from the appointments committee.
What has that got to do with presidential jets?
Your fan base is talking about your utmost courage.
It's not fair to refer to the president as a fan of
but I thought it takes courage. It takes courage to resign, doesn't it? It takes courage to resign.
He resigned courageously and was very civil about it.
Yes, very civil. Yeah.
But the reason why he resigned,
I remain civil about it.
He only gave innuendos.
He was applying scripture, using wisdom to deal with it.
When it came to the reason why he resigned from the appointments committee, because Randy, how many people that you know have resigned from the appointments committee? It's one of the most sought after committees in Parliament. He's probably the first member of Parliament who's resigned. So you don't
doesn't he speak to his
courage?
Yes.
In resignation.
Yes.
But when it came to exposing what difficulties there are there, so lessons can be taken and corrections made.
He applied scripture.
He quoted scripture.
Yes. That's
like the
finance minister. Yes. The only thing is that he is in all black instead of all white.
So they are on opposite sides, are they not? But Randy, the Samuel Kudjato has not been fair to the government, to Parliament, and to the finance minister this morning.
Right.
I mean, the finance minister is not saying or has not said that the cost of that particular travel is secret. He hasn't said it is secret. He hasn't said the information is not available. All he has said is that the office to give that information is the office of the Minister for National Security. So he hasn't refused to answer the question. He hasn't said it is a secret. He has just said that this other office will be best placed to answer it.
After 7 weeks.
Yes. I'll come to that. So that's what that the man has said. So to now come and describe the whole government as sinking so low in accountability is quite unfair. It's premature. You see, because the government has not said that it will not account. It's saying that the proper office of government to do that accounting is this place. So the accusation that government has sunk low in accountability is unfair and premature. Now, Parliament, that Parliament has allowed the finance minister to treat it with contempt. I mean, the adjectives, when he's happy about something, the adjectives flow. Parliament has allowed the finance minister to treat it with contempt, to show dishonesty, arrogance, disrespect, non-transparency, non-accountability, all of that. Randy, if this was Professor Michael Quay in the chair, and Sami is expressing these sentiments, somebody may be excused in thinking that, well, this is a speaker who's on the side of the government. So he probably is condoning the contempt and the dishonesty that Sami is talking about. Like the man is being treated as a super minister. That's the word he used in all of that. But this is a parliament. The head of the parliament, you brought him. Sami Okujeto, you and your party, you brought him to preside over parliament. So if you are now saying to us that he has allowed a minister of state to treat parliament with contempt and dishonesty and arrogance and non-accountability and disrespect, then the four fingers are pointing at you, because you brought the Speaker of Parliament. And I don't think that Alban Bagbin, who today is the Speaker, would allow Parliament to be treated with contempt and dishonesty. It is early days yet. The Finance Minister said, I am not the right office to give this information. The right office is the Minister for National Security. The Speaker obviously has accepted that answer. You, Sami Okujeto, you've told us that in furtherance of that, you have quickly filed an urgent question to the Minister for National Security to come and answer the question. I imagine that the Speaker has admitted, I mean, if he's admitted the first one, the admission of this, because this is just, so the question has been admitted. Because it's been admitted as an urgent question. So the Minister for National Security has 10 days to come and answer. So let's wait for those 10 days to come. And let's see what happens. In this matter, my take, two things. It is in the interest of government to give its side of the cost. It's the interest of government. Because if government doesn't do that, then the figures on the costing is the figures that you, Samia Blakwa, has put into the public domain. There will be no alternative figures. And so people are going to run with the figures that you put in the public domain. So it is in the interest of government, unless if government doesn't give its own figures, then by government application is that government agrees with your figures. So I have no doubt that government will give its figures.
Now let me just ask you a question. And you know I always like to explore and exploit your experience. Now, one thing keeps coming up on my mind. If this is indeed the answer to the question, should it have taken
all these weeks?
All this while?
I told you I have two takes on the matter.
Yeah.
The first take is that I believe it is in the interest of government to provide the information. Otherwise, the information that is available is what Sami Okujeto has put to. I can't come here and challenge. Nobody else can come and challenge because you don't have the contrary figures. That's my first thing. So I have no doubt that government will come and give the figures. My second take is that the time it has taken for the finance minister to come and tell the world that it is not his office, maybe he was reminded by some legal consultation. But it still has taken too long to come and give that answer. Whatever, even if there was a legal consultation, legal opinion, that legal opinion has taken too much time. Because this thing has been played in the public domain and has been played in Parliament for at least 2 months. Isn't it? Yeah. For at least 2 months. In Parliament itself, it's been playing for at least 1.5 months. And in the public domain for more. So, after that passage of time, 1.5 months, 2 months, and then to tell us that you are not the, and there's some information that more time was asked for. So to come and say that you are not the office is a little difficult. But be that as it, and I agree that is an issue, that's taking too much time to come and tell Parliament that you are not the office. But beyond that, the man says that that answer should be provided by this office. So, and he has you file the question, so 10 days. Maybe give or take another 2 or 3 days. In 2 weeks' time, we'll get to know the figures. It will be very strange for the Minister for National Security to also come to Parliament in another 2 weeks
and also
tell us
that
the Chief of Staff. No. So, and I don't think now there is some suspicion that government is stonewalling, doesn't want to give the info. I don't think so, but I can understand when people begin to think like that because of the time it has taken. But it's been pointed out by no less a person than the Finance Minister that the right person, the right office to answer is the Office of the Minister for National Security. He has another 10 days to 12, 13 days to answer. Let's hope that he comes to give the figures, give the cost, and then we'll then address the matter. The thing about some question about from another member of Parliament about President Mahama's travels is a legitimate question. Sami Kujato classifies it as equalization. I don't believe so. It's relevant. It's been triggered by your question. It's also got to do with presidential travel. So we can get a broader take on the issue of presidential travels. The minister, in answering it, gave the same answer that he gave you, that those travels also fall under the purview of the Minister for National Security. So when the Minister for National Security comes...
if Parliament goes for the Office of Government Machinery accounting to Parliament, like what has been done, between 2013 and 2016, it will find how much the Office of Government Machinery spent on domestic and foreign travels during the tenure. Yeah. It will be there. The information will be there.
No, but that's not what we are talking about.
Yes. What is the information you're seeking?
No, that's not what we are talking about. What we are talking about are specific travels. For example, Nokuja and Sami talked about...
No, I'm talking about the one you just spoke about. What was the exact question? The other MP. What exactly was he asking for?
Okay,
yes.
On the JDM.
Yes.
He said the cost of the presidential travel.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that the Office of Government Machinery accounts to Parliament every year. Yeah. So if you want to see the cost of travels, Office of Government Machinery, you will see it per year.
But Randy, Samuel Kujato himself has told us that the Chief of Staff has given that figure.
Yes, for 2019.
Yes, so we are not talking about the general figure. We're talking about the specific. So even though the Chief of Staff has given the figure about travels, what we are talking about now is a particular travel.
No, I'm not speaking about Sami's question. The other MP who asked from 2013 to 2016.
Yes. He's asking about presidential.
Yes.
But you know, the executive travel is not just presidential.
Yes.
So you can give the broad, because minister's travel is also executive travel. But when you ask for a specific travel,
So what is his question? What exactly is he?
I don't know. He's asking for the presidential travel specific.
That
not executive
every
travel.
trip taken by the president, every single trip.
Sam, what's his question? The question is on the other paper. But you see, Randy, when you were a minister, when you were traveling, what was the procedure? You remember?
You must first of all make a case at the Chief of Staff's office.
Yeah.
So for permission to be granted.
Yes. So Randy.
But it's not for you don't apply to the Chief of Staff for provision of funds.
No.
Yes.
You see, what
the Ministry of Education, when you travel and you pay from your budgetary allocation, is it made a part of the executive travel under the Office of Government Machinery?
No, it's not.
You see, Randy, this is what happens. Every ministry of government office will have a budget, including a travel budget. Including a travel budget. In fact, every organization, I'm sure Metro TV, in your expenditure and budgeting for the year, you would have an item for travel. So the Minister for Finance would know what has been allocated.
Okay, so I found the question.
Okay.
It says it's asking for cost of chartered flights used by former President Mahama between 2013 and 2016. Okay. So chartered flights.
So it's a specific thing.
Yes.
For the broad thing, your answer will prevail. That if you want a broad travel budget, but it's asking for a specific thing. Same as and indeed that's what Samit is asking for. It's just that Samit is asking for one specific charter flight. So you would have the travel budget as part of the budget allocated to a ministry. Ministry of Education, Ministry of Information, you serve in those two ministries. But if the minister or the Samuel Kujato as Deputy Minister for Information were to do one travel, it will come from that budget that has been allocated to you. If you exceeded that budget, when you write, they will tell you you've exceeded your budget for travel. But for every specific travel, that will be found at the ministry. And I suspect that is what the finance minister is saying, that we will do an allocation to the Office of Government Machinery for National Security as to what they spend on a specific travel would have to come from them. So he hasn't said he would not answer the question. He said that the answer should best be situated in this office. So let's wait for another 2 weeks. We've already waited 2 months. And let's see what the Minister for National Security will come up with. Sami had said that he wouldn't, you said you wouldn't take in-camera sitting or something.
Yes, any attempt to.
But nobody has.
But the finance minister dropped hints. Any attempt in camera to say that it's a national security matter, so we cannot provide details.
What did he say?
I see that.
But Sami,
government is laying the grounds for this whole matter to be shrouded.
But Sami, the decision to accept an in-camera hearing or not rests solely with the speaker, not so.
Yes.
So it's the speaker who rules on it.
Yes.
So if the speaker rules that there should be in-camera, he's sufficiently convinced that there should be in-camera, that's the ruling.
Exactly.
But even if it's in camera, we all get to know. So, because
but you see, it depends on what is done in camera. If in camera becomes, let's have come to an understanding. This thing is a national security matter, so we cannot provide the details.
To be honest,
you don't get to know anything.
To be honest,
we don't need
with your over 2 decades experience in
this stuff. Yeah.
Really, the cost of one trip. And you should be going through all this.
I agree with you. And it's not as if you use the presidential jet. You went to a public entity.
I agree
a private company in the UK.
Randy, I agree with you 100%. That I don't understand this long time. That it should take 2 days to be told that legitimate question, but it has been wrongly directed. It should take 2 days. For all this time, I myself have difficulty understanding why. But all is not lost. We've been told where the question should be directed. The question, thanks to Sami's proactivity, has been directed to that office. The Speaker has admitted it. There's another 10 days window, so let's wait and see. But otherwise, it's just a cost for one trip or just one chapter. And I'm sure
there's something very dangerous Nana Kumia has done. And I must respond to it very quickly.
Which is
I mean, this business of trying to pitch me against the Right Honourable Speaker, you know, that we brought a speaker and he's Look, let me be clear. When you raise institutional matters.
Do you know the player called Sergio Ramos?
Oh yes, I know him.
You know he's a very top defender.
Yes.
But you know he scored goals than a lot of strikers.
Yeah.
And you know that one of the maxims in soccer is that the best way to defend is to attack.
Yeah.
And you know Nana Kumia was a prolific defender in his footballing days.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Right.
Yeah. So and that's why I listened to him carefully. And very dangerous moves on the pitch, you have to tackle it.
Yes.
You know. Look, I have said this morning.
But what he said was a statement of fact.
I have said this. No, he's trying to pitch me.
The way it was nuanced.
Yes. And presented.
How can fact be nuanced?
Let the records show that this morning I have not attacked the Speaker. I have not questioned his ability to lead the House and to ensure that Parliament lives up to his expectations. I have confidence in the Right Honourable Speaker. And I have said here that the Speaker has been resolute in making sure that the question he's admitted, the Finance Minister comes to answer. I have said that. I have thanked him profusely this morning. Except that I have added that the way the Finance Minister has treated Parliament with contempt, it has weakened Parliament. The image of Parliament is not looking good in this matter. And we have to be. And the Speaker is not at the Business Committee. As for the Speaker, what he does under Order 66 is to admit the question. Then he minutes on it to the clerks. The Majority Leader chairs the Business Committee, not the Speaker. That's why my memo was directed at the Business Committee, at the Majority Leader.
Abdul Malik Kwekwa,
and the Majority Leader is in charge of government business, not the Speaker.
Abdul Malik Kwekwa has a question for you.
Yes.
It says that I've been flowing from the Speaker has the right to determine whether in camera or not.
Yes.
It says, so if you don't agree with the ruling by the Speaker, you can challenge via a substantive motion.
That's true.
Would you be minded to do so if it were to happen?
I'll be minded because I feel strongly. I think that it will be such gross injustice to the people of this country. This is a matter of enormous public interest.
Let's move on.
We shouldn't go for an in-camera here.
Yes, 2 minutes. Sami Kujadu is even making the matter worse. He's now still the Business Committee.
Yes, chaired by the Majority Leader.
So I even forgot to bring another factor. As we speak, this Parliament, the only Parliament since 1993, where the balance of power is equal. In fact, it tilts towards the NDC.
How?
Because you have the Speaker. You see. So, any indictment on the work of this Parliament, whether you believe some minister has shown it with contempt, whether you believe some minister has been dishonest before Parliament, whether some minister has been arrogant, there's also an indictment on the management of Parliament. And you control the balance of forces in this Parliament. So if the minister has shown contempt, you have allowed it. If the minister has been dishonest, he's been arrogant, and not shown accountability, you have allowed it. You have the Speaker.
Okay.
So, but Sami Kujatu, he was bashing government very happily. But in that process, you're also directly bashing the speaker. That's what I pointed out.
The institution.
But
particularly the business committee, which I had to I had to send a memo to.
Listen, as we speak, the business committee is made up of equal numbers.
But it's chaired by.
It's chaired.
Yes.
It's chaired by the
numbers are equal.
Yes.
The numbers are equal.
Why do they vote?
No, if what are the numbers on the business committee?
I'm not a member of the business committee. Can we move on to another one?
Well, still in Parliament.
Yes.
Still in Parliament. The Attorney General's nominee, or the President's nominee, actually, for Special Office of Special Prosecutor was vetted in Parliament yesterday. And we're told that, I don't know if it would be appropriate to say in record time, he was also approved unanimously by the Appointments Committee. Let's check out what happened or what transpired before the committee in Parliament yesterday.
I qualify to be the president of this republic. I am age mates with the president of the French Republic. Indeed, you should forgive me for saying this. I'm a year older than the Minister for Justice and Attorney General. We were mates at the University of Ghana and Ghana School of Law. He is the Minister for Justice and Attorney General. There's no question about his age. Why then throw issues about my age? In terms of experience, as I stated much earlier, I was called to the bar some 18 years ago. I qualified to sit on the Supreme Court of Ghana. Indeed, I'm 3 years past the qualification for Supreme Court. I have taught criminal law, especially in the University of Ghana, for 15 years, continuously. I see, if I'm not mistaken, some of my former students around this table. The Honorable Member for Ejiso is my former student. The Honorable Member for Medina is my former student. The Honorable Member for Parkway Central, I was their TA in conflict of laws. These are the products of my experience. They are here, right here, for everyone to see. And, Honorable Chair, to anchor on that, I have had a front row, although I have not been a prosecutor, properly so-called. I have had a front row to landmark prosecutions in this country. Whoever says I'm a surrogate of a law firm or implicates me in the Japa transaction clearly does not know me. Because if you know me, you wouldn't make such allegations. And so all these things that came up, I took it as coming from uninformed positions. Because I was not involved in the Japa transaction in any form or manner, by any stretch of the imagination, however fertile. As for relationships, as I just disclosed, the fact that I was so close to you at some point in our lives will not give you, or you not give me a free pass because of that relationship. And that is why I'm here. And if there is a matter, I'm not going to say because I know one person or the other, I'm going to give the person a free pass. I certainly will investigate. But the truth of the matter ought to be told. I wasn't involved in the deal. I was nowhere near it. Indeed, until it started coming up, I didn't even know what it was. For the record, that is the truth. And so I'm no one surrogate. As I said earlier, I'm my own man, and I prefer to wear my own shoes. If the law firm was named, it would have even been fair to me. But if you say I'm a surrogate of a law firm, clearly you don't know me. I run my own law firm. I've been running it since 2014 as a managing partner. I cannot be described as a surrogate of that law firm or any other law firm. Before I go on, the disclosure is that he is a very satisfied client. It is the training one receives, and all those who went through that great faculty of law at the University of Ghana would attest to. The multitasking is something that comes second nature to us after going through the program. So it has become somewhat easier going through that training to man all these positions and lecturerships and practice throughout these years. And in respect of the other universities, I was more of a foundation lecturer in criminal law. So if you take Central University, for instance, I'm a member of the International Central Gospel Church, and that's the university established by the church. So law faculty being put up, I helped establish the criminal law aspects by teaching for the first semester. Mount Crest University, the former director of the law school who trained us, knowing very well, helped him establish it. In Gimpa, when Professor Nesabuchi was there, called me in foundation lecturer, criminal law. I helped him to establish it. So these were the things that I was doing. And also, it sharpens me for other things in respect of my life at Legon.
Honorable nominee, what is your take on this? Are you a surrogate of anybody?
Honorable Chair, then before I go on, there's one more disclosure that I have to make in respect of Honorable Member Bulsa North. I was actually the chairman at his wedding reception.
Chairman was right. That he almost said that, yes, I do on your lips too.
I'm not naive to assume that I'm coming to stop corruption. There is no way I can stop corruption. God himself will not even acclaim to that. But I am going to make corruption very costly. Very, very costly to engage in terms of conflict of interest. First, I'm going to institute what I call pressure for progress. And in this quest, there will be a systemic review of all public agencies.
What was the word you...
I said I have termed it pressure for progress.
Pressure for progress.
Yes.
Very well. I thought it was a Latin word you...
No.
spoke. I didn't get it out.
I'm going to institute systemic reviews of public sector institutions and the development of integrity plans. And here, this is what I intend to do. Why can't we have our own corruption perceptions index, for instance? Why can't I rank public sector agencies against each other, and at the end of the year, publicize the results as to which institution is performing well and which institution is not performing well? In that quest, if you are head of an institution and persistently your institution is drawing the short straw in terms of the perception of corruption from the point of view of experts, from the point of view of business people, you will set up.
on Monday, we'll have a Zoom meeting, because in that case, everybody would have the opportunity to participate from wherever he is. So that decision will be made by the committee. From what I observe,
the unenviable position, high office of special prosecutor, Ghana needs you. And Ghana will need a person who would fearlessly and courageously fight corruption. So which we are told we lose $3 billion annually to graft and economic related crimes and to fraudulent practices associated with procurement and other unethical conduct in our country. Moral crusades have not helped us. High ethical standards have not helped us. We need persons or a person with a will to support the president and the country to nip corruption, because it has shattered the dreams of many, contributed to joblessness in our country and to poverty in our country. So welcome. But Chairman, when did you drop the William and why?
Formally earlier this year.
So it's just a 2020 drop. A 2021 drop.
It had become redundant for more than 30 years.
But not abandoning formally. Yes. Some of your friends.
So I decided to formally drop it.
All right. So, Chairman, to now Kisi Ajabin, why did you have to drop William?
Honorable Chair. Okay, so those are the excerpts of the vetting of Kisi Ajabin, the president's nominee for special prosecutor. And gentlemen, the former executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim, is urging special prosecutor nominee Kisi Ajabin to be cautious in his dealings if confirmed to occupy the position. So Mr. Ajabin will most likely face challenges similar to what his predecessor Martin Amidu faced, and so must brace himself to overcome them if he is to succeed in the office. According to him, while Mr. Ajabin's responses at his vetting on Thursday, July 22, 2021 were impressive, his major test will come when he officially begins work and is greeted with the different challenges that the office comes with. Quote, I think that he started by raising the hopes and expectations of Ghanaians, especially on issues of being his own man and so on. But as a special prosecutor, you're not going to work alone. You're going to depend on the government of the day for resources. The points that he made are very good, very laudable pledges, but whether he will be able to go by them, whether he'll be able to resist the pressures that come from all corners, that is my concern. The anti-corruption crusader said he envisages that Mr. Ajabin, if confirmed as the new special prosecutor, may have challenges getting adequate resources and also getting pressure from various quarters. Quote, the challenges may not be different. The government may not give you the necessary money. They may not give you the go-ahead to recruit the number and quality of people you want. Then institutions that you may have to cooperate with may not be giving you the necessary information you need to do your work. The pledges he made are good, but he has to be cautious that he's not going to work alone. We should not compare the two special prosecutors, but there are certain things that have affected Martin Amidu that will also affect him in terms of party pressures, family pressures, and resources. Nana? Well, we know that he's been approved. Has anybody been approved in this Fourth Republic faster than him?
No, I suspect because it is a one.
Yeah, just one item.
Just one item. Because normally you would have people being vetted. Let's say 10 people, and it's when all the 10 have been done, then they go into conclave, and but because it's one, they immediately will go to a meeting after and take the decision. That's why it appears to be quick, but that's the procedure. It's one, so after that, they immediately will meet, and then they take their decision. I mean, we must admit that the excitement level is not as it was when Mr. Amidu was appointed. When Amidu was appointed, because of his profile in anti-corruption, and Amidu's profile is very rich. If you take even the Wayome, the way he single-handedly was able to get Wayome to be dealt with by the courts, when even the government of Ghana was having difficulty having a successful prosecution of Mr. Wayome. And we've known him since he was a Deputy Attorney General and all of them. So he had a tall pedigree. And so when he was appointed, understandably, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of expectation in this country. With Mr. Kisia Jabe hasn't got, I mean, the excitement is not like that. But, you know, you say that the appointee who didn't or hasn't generated excitement may rather turn out to be the performer. So we have to wait and see. He got bipartisan endorsement on the appointments committee, both sides. I've heard a couple of NDC members of parliament expressing their appreciation for his performance before the committee, and also their expectation that he will perform. We have to give him every support that we can. In this country, there are many state institutions whose work borders on fighting corruption. BNI, or is it, the name has been changed.
NIB.
NIB, National Investigation Bureau. It's been switched. BNI, NIB. IOCO. There are a lot of institutions who work. And if he can put all of them together, he shouldn't try and also establish another bureaucracy. Leverage of the work of all these institutions.
But unfortunately, you know that in this country, theft is so important for people. Yeah. But so unless you are appointed as their superintendent or their headmaster, people don't like to see grounds.
You see, it depends on the person who's handling the theft. You see, if you involve them, people will feel happy that you recognize their institution and you have involved them in the work and you are giving them acknowledgement and all of that. They'll be happy.
I mean, look at the shameful spectacle between the Office of Special Prosecutor and the police CID over the Charles Bisu issue. I mean, that public spat.
I mean, the two of them purported to be investigating the same matter at the same time, but that clearly shows you that they were not cooperating. And I didn't want to say so. I didn't want to say that one of the difficulties that Amidu had was this feeling that I'm a separate bureaucracy. I need to establish my own outfit independent of everybody else. And so you have a situation where CID is investigating a matter that he's also investigating. It shouldn't happen. You should cooperate, you see. So I didn't want to say that blatantly.
Yeah, but on that one, I would rather finger government, because an entity does an investigation. It petitions the Office of a Special Prosecutor, in this case, that guy. And then the minister also goes to petition CID on the same issue.
So it's a matter of quietly drawing the minister's attention that I'm already seized of the matter. I mean, because, Randy, even in your own company, you know, you need to try and involve everybody. Your line managers. Yeah, you know, teamwork, that's what they call it, teamwork. So the already institutions funded, they would always tell you their funding is not adequate. So if you have a bit of funding, support them. IOCO is a fantastic organization made up of retired investigators and so on. CID, even SHRAG, all of these agencies are there. If he can establish a coordination with all of them, he will go far. I don't know much about him, except the little I've seen on him on media. So compared to Amidu, who was really large on the anti-corruption landscape, he doesn't come with that credential. But like I said, he may turn out to be the one who's going to deliver. And my advice is that you should try and get all the anti-corruption agencies together, work with them as a team. the country will benefit.
John?
Oh, but you are not on the appointments committee, so you didn't take part in the interview.
This appointment should be discussed within the anti-corruption ecosystem, the larger climate for fighting corruption. One of the reasons why people are not excited about this appointment, as Nana Komia has rightly observed, is because Ghanaians have realized that there is just no appetite by those in leadership to fight corruption. Indeed, they themselves now epitomize corruption, lack of transparency, lack of accountability. I mean, look at what they have taken the country through on the matter we discussed earlier. What is so mysterious about full disclosure on official travels to France, Belgium, and South Africa? The matter to do with this luxury jet. See how the Auditor General was hounded out of office. All the anti-corruption civil society organizations condemned the president's conduct in the matter. Recently, the ousted Auditor General Domlevo resurfaced in his, and I must commend the Frederick Ebert Stiftung for instituting that Domlevo anti-corruption lectures. And look at the startling revelations he made. That since he was hounded out of office, all the auditors who helped him in the Kroll and Associates audit affair have all been punished one way or the other. The Deputy Auditor General, Domlevo, revealed that he has been demoted 2 steps. The whole Deputy Auditor General in charge of central government audit has been demoted 2 steps. He revealed at the lectures sponsored by Frederick Ebert Stiftung that the lawyer who helped him prosecute the case in court has been transferred from Accra to Cape Coast. And we all know in Ghana's public service, we know transfers, particularly when it's to a lesser office, a lower office, what it means. They are punishing you, they are sending you a message that the system doesn't like you, leadership doesn't want you close, be gone. So the entire climate is one that does not seek to fight corruption. It rather seeks to promote it and to benefit from it. The high hopes that the people of this country had when President Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo, said that he will adopt the Anas principle. What is the Anas principle today? Anas has faced the stiffest opposition to his work ever. He didn't face that under President Rawlings, under President Kufuor, under President Mills, under President Mahama. They will always accept his report, follow through, and make sure that they assist to get to the bottom. People are sanctioned. Look at how swiftly President Mahama responded when he received that groundbreaking investigation on the judiciary. Immediately did what he had to do. Today, he will be questioned. They will sponsor Kennedy Japon, who, by the way, has now been appointed chairman of Ghana Gas after he was made chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. I mean, the impunity. I mean, this government in this second term is like, look, I mean, more kakrana ye more. We can't be bothered. We don't care. country belongs to us. You can go to hell. At a time that he is facing the Privileges Committee, journalists are up in arms. The diplomatic community is concerned, I can confirm to you.
There's a video making the rounds in which, in that video, is alleged to have made statements to the effect that the president was very happy with Watchman. I'm surprised that the presidency has not reacted to it.
I've seen that. Oh, but why are you surprised? When he's rather been rewarded, he's been appointed chairman of Ghana Gas.
No, but it's a matter that the president should speak to, because, you know, the president in recent times has been speaking about press freedom. You know, I think that issue that was raised against him is really got into his skin. You know, and he's been speaking about, even at the Eid, he had to speak about press freedom and all that. And if such an allegation is made against the press, because you see, if you say that you use the ANAS principle to fight corruption, and somebody is alleging that you were extremely happy with what the person did against ANAS, I mean, it deserves a response.
Oh, Doc, look, they say actions speak louder than words. Haven't you heard that saying? Action speak louder than words. That's the maxim. The man has been rewarded. He's been made chairman of Ghana Gas after he was made chairman of the prestigious committee.
But he's always
defense
in the last parliament, he was chairman of a committee, communications.
But I mean,
he's a very senior member of
but defense and interior. You know, after all the matters going on, you know, I mean, look, it's clear to me that under President Akufo-Addo, we have witnessed grand deception. It was just packaging. Nana Kumia, who is a PR guru, and his collaborators, you know, they did a great job. Oboshi Sai Kofi and others, you know. I think Jake started, but handed over to them. You know, may he so rest in peace. They packaged him so beautifully, so nicely. Even those of us in opposition, we
supported him.
We thought that, okay, he, you know, at his age and all that he has seen, you know, and I've always said I prefer our politics to be a race to the top. So when you come do better than we did, when we also come we'll do better than you do, rather than a race to the bottom, where we always equalize with what happened terribly in the past, and we are going down, down, down below, down the abyss. He was just packaged. So that is why there is no expectation for this office of special prosecutor. I think we should close down the office, honestly.
Oh.
We should close it down. It's a waste of taxpayers' money, waste of resources. Close it down. What is one man going to do in this climate? A president who hounds out an auditor general who is doing so well, internationally regarded, and all those who helped him in the Crow case are being hounded. A president who is in a hurry to clear his appointees. As we speak, where is the Australia visa report? Where is it? The Australia visa scandal. Who was responsible for that scandal? You believe the hogwash that Pius Hajide was cleared. So who did it? Who brought that monumental shame to Ghana? I recall the dinner I had with the former Australian High Commissioner. I was so embarrassed when I saw the facts. So embarrassed. Who are those who did that? Nobody has been held responsible. We haven't seen the report that is supposed to have cleared the deputy sports minister at the time. That should name and shame those who perpetrated it, and the prosecutions that should follow. So, I mean, how are you going to fight? I'm not surprised that he himself says that he's not here to stop corruption.
He says he'll make it costly.
He'll make it costly. How is he going to make it costly? How? When he is conscious of what happened to his predecessor. What did Martin Abidu say? Go back to the Martin Abidu epistles. He said, look, the greatest mistake he made in his life, ever, and this is Martin Abidu speaking, was to have trusted Nana Akufo-Addo that he meant the fight against corruption, that he was committed to the fight against corruption. That is the greatest mistake he ever made in his life. To have been deceived by what he calls the mother serpent of corruption. So in this climate, what are you going to achieve? Close down that office. Close down the office. I mean, This whole business of an office of special prosecutor was because we said attorney generals sit in cabinet with colleagues, they are not independent enough. So we need an independent person who will be very, very ruthless, neutral in the fight against corruption. Now we are opting to go for people who we are more comfortable with, and we think that this office will deliver any goods. No wonder if you follow social media yesterday, nobody is interested. Nobody is interested in this office. I'm surprised that the young man who has, I'm told, a very flying career and is doing very well in private practice. Yeah. I'm surprised that he fell for this and is agreed to go and occupy that worthless. Look, you will only succeed in the fight against corruption if the leadership is committed. Let's face it. Let's not pretend about this. Leadership is cause. Everything else is effect. And when you see how your colleagues in the public sector have been treated, how Domelevo has been treated, all those who try to blow the whistle, how they are treated, you are only human. You will watch your steps. You will advise yourself. So, please, I have no hopes.
And now we have 2 minutes to go.
Well, Samuel Kujato has made statements that don't hold any water at all. It's just, as usual, trying to. These days he tries to strike a straight line, but once in a while he slips into this propaganda thing. Look, Amidu, the comments Amidu made against NDC, if we are to repeat them,
which you used and read to us on this show all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I still have. If we had time, I'd have read a lot of them.
He's also reading some to you.
So I'm saying that read both. So that's what Amidu
if we believe Amidu on John Mahama and we used it, shouldn't we believe Amidu on Nana Akufo-Addo and you say?
I don't have a problem people quoting Amidu. But
St. Martin.
Quote what he said about you. Otherwise, I'll bring it out and quote what he said about you. So don't come and beat us over what Amidu has said. Otherwise, we'll beat you over what Amidu has said about you. And he goes on, Domeledo was hounded out, Domeledo was hounded out. Look, I like Domeledo. I thought he had a positive spirit. But you hounded, when you removed the Auditor General in 2009, did you hound him out?
We didn't remove any Auditor General.
Oh, please. You removed Duachiman in 2009. You were in government, you were a deputy minister at the time.
So you copied from their playbook.
I'm saying that when they did that, were they hounding him out?
You said they were handing him out.
The Domelevo thing, the name is a bit difficult. I admire the man. I just have a difficulty with the way his official records showed two ages. And then government decided to use the original entry. It's unfortunate. It's a decision taken by government. But we will not run away from.
And yet you've appointed a 77-year-old man at your.
Can I finish? No. The law says
we have to go.
Oh, 1 minute.
We have to go.
So the Malevo was not hounded out. He provided a birth date that showed that he should retire.
Okay.
It is May. Now, this business about government is not tolerant and his tree is better than his ever. But look, Samuel Kujato.
All right, so thanks, Nana. Thanks, Nana and Sami for joining me on the show. Up next is Gmg Trends.
The search for a reliable partner in dealing with buses, genuine spare parts, its repairs and maintenance at a highly effective workshop with remarkable speed. We also have available the sale of Camel car batteries, Weichai and Kia spare parts, Zonton coaches and light-duty vehicles for everyday movement. www.saautomobilegh.com. SA Automobile. The pleasure of doing business with you is all ours.
Accra, commercial capital of Africa, will host the 5th Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference, GITFIC, on the 27th of July 2021 at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra at 9 a.m. prompt. This year's theme is Facilitating Trade and Trade Finance in AFCFTA, the role of the financial services sector. The event will host continental dignitaries including AU Commissioner for Trade, Industry and Mining, the Governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, the Governor of the Central Bank of Francophone West Africa, the Governor of the Central Bank of Francophone Central Africa, Director General of WAMI, ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the African Development Bank, Ghana's Commissioner for Insurance and several others within the trade and finance space of Africa's economies. The 5th International Conference will be opened by His Excellency Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, and moderated by Mr. Prince Moses, General Manager, Asasi Radio. Critical and urgent continental issues on the Pan-African payment and settlement system within the AFCFTA and others will be discussed with apt solutions to influence regional and continental policies. Proudly sponsored by the Bank of Africa, the Bank of Ghana, GIZ Support Project for the AFCFTA and Asasi Radio. Visit www.gitfic.com to learn more and stay tuned in to Asasi Radio for more updates.
Showing on Metro Social this weekend, the Ghana Influential Youth Awards Festival 2021. Hashtag Ember Wedding between Kwame and Bernice. The 30th birthday celebration of Mr. Easy, dubbed Jungle Affair. Make a date on Friday at 9:30 p.m. and a repeat on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and Sunday at 9:30 p.m.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV shows brought to you in kind partnership with X Natural Mineral Water. It's time for Gmg Trends, and guess what? This month, Okreku Dako is here with me. Good morning, this month.
Good morning, Dr. Randy.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm
okay.
good. It's
What's
Friday.
Trending?
Yeah.
TGIF.
Yeah. Well, this morning, trending on Twitter, a lot of things, but number one right now is Sam George, the MP. He's trending on Twitter, as well as LGBTQ plus and all the rest. They're trending on Twitter. Kisei Jabin is also trending on Twitter, same as Martin Amidu. So we're getting into them. Let's begin with Sam George and the LGBTQ, trend on Twitter. Now, the Ningo Prampram MP and 7 others, including MPPs joining Team Fojo, have drafted a bill where they are seeking to introduce in the House as a private member's bill for approval. Now, the 36-page bill, that is the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021, will see corporates face a jail term of up to 10 years depending on the crime if it's passed in its current state. And there have been some reactions on social media, especially on Twitter. And I'm going to begin with a tweet by the Honorable MP Sam George. And he tweeted something. We'll get into that. But this one from Baby Boy says that, okay, we'll get into that. Okay, so this one from Sam George, his handle on Twitter says, I have been overwhelmed by the massive support, even here on a very liberal platform like Twitter, for our bill on the LGBTQ plus menace. Homosexuality is not a human right. It is a sexual preference. Preferences are not absolute or unregulated. We shall pass this bill through. So that is a tweet from Sam Joy, the MP, and a lot of retweets ongoing there on social media about this, conversations about that also. Kobe founder on Twitter says, "Your slander Sister Debbie and Michael Asian for promoting LGBTQ, but you people still seem to have a problem when Parliament passed a bill which goes against it. What at all does the ordinary Ghanaian want?" That's a question from Kobe on Twitter. This one from Baby Boy says that the funny thing is, you don't even have to look outside Twitter to notice people's support for the bill. Go and look at the comments under Sam George's tweet, giving him thumbs up for what he's doing. That should tell you all you need to know. Let's move on to the other tweets. This one from Just Debbie on Twitter says that this anti-LGBT bill is so absurd. Well, he's not happy about that. It contravenes basic human rights in so many ways and gives the state unbridled power to control the private lives of citizens, forcing intersex people to undergo surgery. Even the language they used is so dehumanizing. So we'll get into all of the other tweets, but Dr. Randy Abbey, this is what's trending on Twitter this morning. Some George, LGBTQ, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the issue really is about whether that is a right or a preference. You know, I think that is a preference and not a right. That's my view. Yeah,
so just as the MP puts it?
That's my view. I think that is a preference, not a right. I'm not convinced that is a right.
Okay.
I think it's a preference.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, well, it just began on Twitter. So as the day goes by, we'll look at all the others also trending on Twitter with respect to this particular situation. Let's talk about Kissi Ejabeng. Now, yesterday, he appeared before the Vetting Committee of Parliament. And during his time that he was trending on Twitter, everybody talking about him. And on that score, the former special prosecutor was also trending on Twitter. We'll talk about him, but for now, let's talk about Kissi Ejabeng and the questions that came to him and the answers that he gave about his age, about the former prosecutor Martin Amidu, and how he plans to stop corruption. Well, he says that he wouldn't be able to stop that, but he'll make it costly. So let's look at the tweets on Twitter, what people said about Kissi Ejabeng. This one is from the MP, Johnny Timfojo. He tweeted that, "Congratulations, Mr. Kissi Ejabeng, Special Prosecutor nominee. I'm confident in his poise to leave a legacy in the fight against graft. His legal credentials and brilliant responses to questions posed by the appointment committee give the assurance that indeed he will succeed." So that is from the lawmaker in Team Fojo on the vetting of Kissi Ejabeng. Now, John Kuma also wrote on Twitter that Special Prosecutor nominee Mr. Kissi Ejabeng appeared before the Appointments Committee to be vetted. I sought his understanding on various constitutional and legal matters. In my opinion, he demonstrated his all the same. I wish Kissi Ejabeng the best of luck. And that's from Alale Tijani on Twitter. Salas on Twitter says that Kissi Ejabeng is real on how he answered his questions, but it seems Martin Amidu bragged a lot during his vetting, and that alone put pressure on him to resign. So that's it about Kissi Ejabeng. A lot of comments there, and this one also says that Kissi Ejabeng too nice and innocent for the OSP. Reputation soon to be derailed by corrupt and incompetent governments like Bamia. So far, explicit and intelligent. So, Dr. Randy Abbey, those are some of the trends this morning on Gmg Trends.
The soon-to-be special prosecutor is my main man.
Is your guy?
Is my guy. Is my guy.
Anyways, it's good to have a young person getting into.
I wish him well. I know that he means well. I know that he has a competence. Whether the environment will be right for him is another matter, but I wish him well. I'll pray a lot for him. I'll add him to my prayer points. He needs it a lot. He needs it a lot. I'd have wished that he went on the Supreme Court, but let's pray for him.
Let's pray for him and hope that he can do a good job. So that's it for Gmg Trends. My name is Desmond Okrekudanso.
So you have a great weekend.
Thank you, and same.
And I'm sure you'll be playing your PS5 with your friends.
Well, yes, we'll do something like that, and hopefully this time I could go out and just check out a few things.
Or you go out?
Yeah, I'll go out.
Okay, where? Where do you hang out? You're thinking about where you hang out?
I have a base in Tema. I have a base in Tema.
Is that where you live?
Yeah, I live in Tema. So there's this fufu joint, we just go and...
Fufu joint?
Yeah, that's where we hang out.
You hang out at the fufu joint. Anyway. What's the name of your joint?
Again, himself. I don't think it's a name.
Okay, all right. Okay. So you enjoy your fufu. I'll see you on Monday. Up next is Metro Sports with Michael Kofi.
Fear delegates, but people continue not to learn and continue to demonstrate excessive confidence in the build-up to elections. And it's the case with Echo Henry Marlin Spain in the Ghana Boxing Authority elections. He was tipped as an overwhelming favorite, only to be beaten by Ni Kote.
He didn't win?
He didn't win.
Oh, I thought he won.
No, he lost. Fear delegates.
Oh no.
So we'll delve into that as Ni Kote is elected president of the Ghana Boxing Authority. We'll also look into the MTN FA Cup, which reaches the last 8 with some tricky duels, including Hearts of Oak who travel to Elmina to take on Elmina Sharks, and we have previews to all these games and more. The Olympic Games opening ceremony is set for later today, and we have all the build-up to the Olympics, plus some pre-season. Your club, Liverpool, have started the pre-season. Some injured players are already back active, and I'm sure it's good news for yourself.
I mean, looking at the FA Cup, I see a lot of people praying that Hearts and Kotoko win their respective games. They want to see a Hearts and Kotoko final. But the FA Cup is a tournament of underdogs, always bringing surprises. Hearts and Kotoko ought to be very careful.
They ought to be careful, but I'm sure that a repetition of the finals 2 seasons ago is something that spectators or football fans really look forward to. But the stories of how Nania FC made a semi-final and a final, but how there was a Bichim United or Core United final, I'm sure all these things are fresh on our minds, and it reminds us of the surprises that the MTN FA Cup brings along. So we have details of all these and more coming up on Metro Sports between 10 a.m. and 10:30 with me, Michael.
All right, have fun on your show, and I'll be watching. Well, that'll be it for this week on GMG. God willing, we'll be with you next Monday. Have a pleasant weekend.
Metro TV.